Welcome to Cinekuest Video.
There has been a destructive force unleashed on this town such as I have never seen.
Oh my God, I don't believe this is not happening!
We have got a poltergeist!
Okay, well, folks, I can do a clearance, but it's not going to be cheap. Although I do offer a 6-month guarantee.
That fellow takes us totally for granted.
Hey, Stuart, in or out, huh?
Frank Bannister had a remarkable ability
Psychic investigator?
to communicate with the dead.
You could see spirits?
Emanations are normally confined to the cemetery,
You cannot push spirits around!
although they do escape.
And an uncanny knack
We're gonna scare the living daylights out of your parents.
for making a profit off the living.
We're supposed to be his business partners.
Everyone says that you're a fraud, but I've seen what you can do.
Give it up, Frank. Death ain't no way to make a living.
But now, some things put the fear of death in the living
What is happening to me?
and sent the dead running for their lives.
I've seen a figure in a cape.
That was the soul collector. When your number's up, that's it.
Frank, we got problems. All these murders that have been going on in Fairwater, they're gonna pin them on you.
From Universal Pictures and Robert Zemeckis
You're next, pal.
and acclaimed director Peter Jackson.
We don't stop till the screaming starts, you dig?
The Frightners.
Welcome to Cinekuest Video. On this episode, we're going to be talking about the movie The Frighteners, and that is Roland's pick for this special Halloween episode.
So the few favorites I fucking have, like, all right, I need this.
Oh, that's when you watch The Frighteners, you say like, "I need this."
Yeah.
That's weird.
This was a good movie. Talking about.
Well, when you say something like "I need this," saying it's a good movie seems like an understatement.
Yeah.
It seems a little bit means more to you than that.
It does.
Yeah, it's all right.
So much.
It's pretty good. Yeah. I enjoy it.
I might have
If you're bored when I check it out,
I might have a facial expression. Who knows? We'll see.
So I mean, with this movie,
The moment has passed.
It is directed by Peter Jackson, which at the time when I first saw it didn't mean much to me because I didn't really know who Peter Jackson was.
Yeah.
But now you look back and realize Peter Jackson's filmography kind of started with horror
Yep.
and like weird fucking movies, and now he's over here directing Lord of the Rings and other nonsense like The Hobbit. or whatever. King Kong.
King Kong. Yeah.
Other stuff that people don't necessarily. Well, like he produced District 9. He, there's this old comic book called The Adventures of Tintin that he also produced. And you'll probably like this garbage, Ray. It looks like he's a producer on a documentary for
The Beatles Get Back.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. I've never heard of it. Coming out next year.
Me neither. I've never heard of the Beatles either, Ray. But I guess they're a thing. Some people.
Yeah, some say. Yeah.
Yeah, good for them. But
I think that their form of dance got quickly outfaded by the Rolling Stones, though.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was some kind of Cirque du Soleil thing, so it was close. I was close.
All right.
Yeah, dance,
Well, the Rolling Stones have outlived.
They've outlived everybody.
Speaking of Cirque du Soleil and rock stars, there should be a Cirque du Soleil show where it's like 1970s and 80s rock star hotel rooms where they're like swinging around doing all this cool shit, smashing TVs and throwing shit out the window.
Just like somersault sexing each other or whatever the hell.
I mean, that'd be pretty good.
Doing
You have
lines, doing lines in the air. Like this one chick's like, tranquil with her like little thigh with a line of Coke. And this other dude like floats by, takes the bump,
midair.
And you can make that for every band at every stage in their career. How they destroyed a fucking hotel room.
It's just the same hotel room.
I can see on Marilyn Manson's there's a lot of dick sucking and spitting in girls' assholes. It was just because I read the book, I know, but that can be some weird shit, you know.
I mean, that sounds pretty normal for weird, wacky band hijinks.
Well, you know, it's funny is that like, although Marilyn Manson did participate in spitting in a girl's asshole, and so did the whole crew and band do this. They didn't have sex with her; they just spit in her asshole. He felt bad afterwards.
Yeah. I hope he was breathing through his mouth.
Oh man, I mean,
this is not how the Antichrist should behave.
We have standards.
But he did suck a lot of dick, apparently. So I mean, not his own, according to him either. Which I'll address whenever we do.
Wait, he didn't get the ribs out.
He said, well, according to Marilyn Manson, he said, "Why would I even bother being in a band if I could suck my own dick?" Like, why would I even hang out with anyone if I could suck my own dick? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Right? Yeah.
But more on that on like the
logically
whenever we record the mixtape Antichrist Superstar episode. But yeah, so
I'm looking at the IMDb here for Peter Jackson before the Frightners, and most of this stuff is, I mean, like.
Have you seen Meet the Feebles?
I think I started to watch it. I don't.
It's a weird ass movie.
Because you told me about it, wasn't it? Yeah, like the ones with the puppet sex and all that kind of.
Well, it's a weird fucking movie. Bryce keeps telling me about it, which I'm pretty sure Bryce could have had something to say about it. Bad Taste I haven't seen, but it is available to watch, which I've always also wanted to watch. But the one that I know mostly from Peter Jackson, other than Lord of the Rings, is Dead Alive, which was like considered one of the goriest movies of all time.
That he directed?
That he directed, yeah.
Oh, here we go. I'm looking at that. For some reason, it's only
go down right there. Right there, Dead Alive, right there.
Yeah. I watched it for the first time, I think, when we went out to visit your cousin in Dallas.
You did watch it when we were visiting Joe.
I watched it with Joe's son.
Yeah. And he seemed to enjoy it.
Yeah. We were just laughing.
Yeah, it's a fun movie.
While Joe was passed out on the couch, and I forgot you were doing. I think you were there.
I was sitting there on the front. You guys were bonding.
Oh yeah, it was pretty funny. Well. Like we were just like pointing out a bunch of silly shit in the movie and just laughing.
And I mean, his directing style seems to change like throughout the movies, because I mean, like for instance, Dead Alive, it's very, I don't know what the word is, like is jolting. Like the characters move really fast. Pace is like quick camera turns, quick close-ups.
So kind of like the interrogation scene in Frightners?
Yeah, basically kind of like that.
Okay, word. Because I haven't seen any of these movies you've referenced or whatever, just that camera work. Actually, that's one thing about this movie that I guess I'll bring up now. Like I love that scene. I don't really give a shit about camera work for the most part, but that was just, fun, just right up in fucking, Herbert West's grip or his fucking grill, seeing like kind of where he kind of missed shaving like 2 days prior, like right by the nostril, the hard part.
His crazy eyes.
Yeah, speaking of
super dilated ass shit. Yeah.
Speaking of Herbert West, I want to get to the cast that came out of this movie.
That was the reason. We have Michael J. Fox as the star.
Ray, maybe you can help us, because the chick who played Lucy in the movie, I realize she is not one of the actresses I'm trying to think of. Roland likened her to Elaine from Seinfeld, but I'm thinking about this other chick who was in a few 90s movies. I can't remember what the fuck her name is. Is
it Andie MacDowell?
Andie MacDowell, yeah. I was like Andie McDermott. I think I said to Roland earlier.
Yeah, I think you're thinking of Andie MacDowell.
Yeah. Andie MacDowell, dude. Yeah. So I totally just like, she's in this movie too. Cool. And I was like, wait.
The movies that come to mind whenever I think of Andie MacDowell is Multiplicity with Michael Keaton.
Yeah, there you go.
And
that movie is amazing.
Bad Girls,
we should do that movie.
Bad Girls. It's like that Western movie with her and Drew Barrymore. They're like outlaw women.
I haven't seen it.
Like that.
Sounds ridiculous.
It is kind of a ridiculous movie. It's not that great, but she was also in Andie MacDowell was in Groundhog Day also with Bill Murray. Yeah. So yeah.
So now
she kind of does kind of have that likeness to her. Yeah. I could say that.
Just that kind of like general kind of morphology of the face and like the same hair.
Right. Yeah.
Right on. Cool.
Yes, and we also one of the reasons why we love this movie.
Hawk. Oh shit. Okay.
Is because of Roland's and probably mine, and I would say like unanimously we like this actor a lot.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Combs.
Jeffrey Combs plays what's his name?
Mr. Herbert West.
Milton Dammers. FBI agent Milton Dammers.
Yes. One of the greatest.
I thought it was Dammers.
Dammers.
Is it Dammers?
Yeah.
I heard like Danvers, and it sucks because like my hearing sucks, and I wanted subtitles, particularly when Roland and I were watching the movie.
Yeah, couldn't
but
get it.
On the version we had, none were available. So I was like, all right, great.
Okay.
Yeah, Milton Dammers.
Probably one of his most fun roles ever.
Absolutely. He's hilarious.
And I'm pretty sure Roland, I mean, one reason why you like this movie so much is just because of that character.
Absolutely. He's pretty much one of the main reasons
big
that
bads.
I like this movie. Yeah. Well, he is a big bad, but like in the way that just like you feel like it's pathetic. So this was my first introduction to Jeffrey Combs. Was this movie? It wasn't. I didn't until a few years later that I got to check out Reanimator.
I feel that actually. Yeah,
I think I can say that myself. Like,
and I'd forgotten because when I first saw this movie, I loved it. But it was a rental, and it's like I didn't catch it much on cable or think about downloading it at any point kind of thing or buying it. I just sort of forgot about it until like every couple of years I'd be reminded like, oh fuck, the Frightners, I love this movie, let me check it out. And I'm gonna retell this story that I shared with Roland, but like it's been like 15 years or so since I've like watched this movie initially. I've only watched it once before. Yesterday I watched it just by myself, and then today it was Roland, so I've watched it 3 times total. Totally forgot who Jeffrey Combs played in the movie. So when I first saw the little nerd ghost buddy of fucking, Michael J. Fox's character, I was like, I'm not sure. Could that be him? It doesn't sound right. But I was like, fuck that. I guess that's him though. Cause I didn't remember a whole lot about this movie. I remembered, Jake Busey being, like his role in the movie and the kind of like the general structure, but I totally forgot Jeffrey Combs in this movie. So I was like, what the fuck? Like, what do you identify?
So I apologize for that, but
did you see him when he was in X-Files?
I think Daniel, are you referring to Michael J. Fox's ghost friend? Because he's a little nerd. He's James, that's Jim Fife.
Yeah, Stewart.
And then
right.
Cyrus. Jeffrey Combs is the FBI agent. And
yeah. But initially, like when I was watching this movie yesterday by myself, it'd been so long, and I saw the little nerd dude in his little like ectoform. And I was like,
gotcha, right.
Was that Jeffrey Combs?
Oh no, no, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but I was like, dude, the voice isn't right and shit. And then when he finally came out, I was like,
I loved it.
Oh shit, that's right. But that's how little I remember about this fucking movie. So it was like almost watching a brand new movie yesterday. Yeah. So it was a fantastic experience.
One of the other cast members I do want to bring up, of course, Daniel did mention Jake Busey, which is the son of Gary Busey, and they still have the same teeth,
same fucking everything.
Which actually, with the temporality of this movie and shit, I was like, Roland and I were watching it, I was like, dude, isn't that like his brother or some shit?
You would think so, right?
I was like, no, dude.
Those are birth teeth right there.
Yeah. Birth teeth. Yeah.
They're past
they're honestly gained.
The other persons in the movie that wanted to make note was John Astin, which is the judge. He was actually from the Addams Family, the original.
Yep.
So he was the...
Gomez Adams.
Was he Gomez? Yeah.
Right. Gomez. Holy
like
shit.
Like the name just fucking like...
I love that.
Yeah, judge is a great like Roland just beat me to it. Like the track will tell the truth once our 3 listeners hear this. But Gomez. Yeah.
And one of the other persons that Peter Jackson has playing a character is Dee Wallace, who's, if you're a horror fan, you know that she's pretty much come out in so many classic like horror movies. She's also the mother in E.T., The Howling, Cujo, Critters. Like she's come out in fucking so much.
He also cast another famous person in that movie. himself.
Where was he in that movie? I don't remember.
Oh, dude.
so great.
Dude, yeah. Because like Roland brought to my attention today, he's like, wasn't that so-and-so? And I was like, I looked it up. I was like, did Peter Jackson cameo in the Frighteners? And he totally did, dude.
Yeah.
He was the pierced up guy that fucking Frank bumped into when he was leaving the fucking pig station or something.
Oh,
where
really?
he was at.
Yeah,
yeah. The guy that calls him an asshole. He's like
or whatever.
asshole.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I saw his face, dude. I saw his face.
I didn't even like click in my head at all.
The second I saw him, like I was like, holy shit. Like that's.
I watched that scene. I guess now beard 4 times because yesterday I was watching the movie. I fucking tracked it back because I was like, dude, did the guys like piercings and shit make him like have a lisp for apple or something? And he totally did. And then it turns out that was fucking Peter Jackson and a fucking cameo in his own shit, which was fucking hilarious.
That's funny.
It was fucking
I had no
funny.
idea that was him.
I just caught it when we were watching. I was like, no. Awesome.
And I mean, if you don't know this at all, the star of the movie is Michael J. Fox, who did play Marty McFly in the classic Back to the Future.
And so that was
movies.
the reason why they hired him for this one. They liked him there. And
well, I mean, it was produced by Robert Zemeckis
as well. Zemeckis was supposed to have directed this.
Yeah, he was, but then
he passed it on.
He liked
he liked Peter Jackson's film. What was it called?
Well, the script and stuff. I mean, that he did, and then
there was a film that he put out before this movie, and they saw it at some like indie film festival. I was just looking at it earlier. Hold up, might as well just go through it. Heavenly Creatures. Yeah,
no, that's co-produced.
No.
I mean,
sorry.
I should think
well,
of,
like that was. No, yeah. Yeah, because he directed it. He directed it before it was before the Frightners, and the same with Jeffrey Combs. They liked him as Herbert West, and so that was why they pulled him in for this too.
You know, I mean, Jeffrey Combs plays like a way more eccentric.
Yeah,
Herbert West.
Plays, and it is fucking hilarious. So fucking fun. Was it my body is a roadmap of pain?
Sheriff, you have violated my territorial bubble.
I love that one. That one's so great. That one is so fucking great. He's so angry and like indignant and just like, but in like such a timid little bitch whipped fucking wet blanket, approach. It's so funny.
Roland has his, autograph from Jeffrey Combs, right? As that actor, or as that character.
Right.
But I told him like the picture should have taken though was a still from the fucking movie when he's like peeking around the door frame.
Yeah. Oh man, that was
just where you barely see like so, it's like barely.
Yes, such a great introduction, man. Like when they're in the station and they're like. What is it? The sheriff's talking to her. We haven't gotten
to the plot of this fucking movie though yet. Maybe we should hold off. Maybe we should hold off. Sorry, man.
I'll sort of end it on that though, saying that.
Well, I mean, yeah. Let's just get to the synopsis of the movie
because this movie is the shit.
It really is. It's a fun movie. Like,
it's as I understand it, it's a cult favorite. Because this one
I didn't know it was a cult classic or whatever. Like, I knew some guy in college who was like, "Hey, this movie's cool," and
it's one of the more surprisingly obscure cult classics because of Peter Jackson, how he made it, and like how it actually has a lot of like high list talent.
Well, dude, it has the Fox in it, dude.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, most people were used to seeing Michael J. Fox, of course, as Marty McFly.
Yeah.
Then he was in Spin City, but I mean, I think he was in Spin City after this.
Yes, I think that was like in 97 or 8 when that show started.
All the movies in between, like I personally only know maybe I've seen one movie with Michael J. Fox after Back to the Future.
I can't think of one myself.
I know of a movie called Doc Hollywood. I think that was it. That was the movie. Doc Hollywood.
I've seen Doc Hollywood. Yeah,
I've seen Doc Hollywood, but most other movies I don't think I've seen of Michael J. Fox. I mean,
wasn't he Mighty Ducks? Dude,
you know when you said
Michael J. Fox.
You know when you fucking said that, I thought we're being like real, like.
Well, I'm glad because that was the intent with my tone. But yeah, I was fucking around.
I mean, aside from Mars Attacks.
Well, I mean, he's only a small character in that movie also. But I mean,
because he did spend a shitload of time in Sin City. It was like 5 years.
Spin City, yes.
So
and it was the same year that this movie came out. He started Spin City, and he's done like small.
Was that 96?
Cameo characters? Yeah, he's done small characters since then.
Yeah, voiceover stuff mostly.
Yeah, but I mean,
cameos.
You don't know him from much of anything other than fucking Back to the Future and a few movies in between.
Right.
You know,
didn't he like doing a lot of like full on productions when he started having the
Parkinson's set, pretty early on for him in his life, and
but. I mean, when this movie came out, it was kind of a different role for him specific. Like, I mean, it wasn't the same.
No, he played like an adult,
little young boy, know nothing trope.
Yeah, he's like a troubled dude, a troubled adult. He doesn't have Doc Brown to kind of save him, and he's the one that experiences all this paranormal shit. You know.
Yeah.
Roland, you want to get to some of the synopsis here as to why he specifically can see paranormal activity? Yeah,
after a tragic car accident that kills his wife, a man discovers, obviously Michael J. Fox, that he can communicate with the dead to con people. However, when a demonic spirit appears, he may be the only one who can stop it from killing the living and the dead.
Right. So we find out at some point in the movie that
he was acquires in a traumatic accident.
These abilities because he was in an accident with his wife. His wife ended up dying.
Right.
And that's when he first saw apparently like a spirit.
Right, but he forgets.
It's a
traumatic experience,
so traumatic that he forgets.
Like he just loses that memory.
But the movie, we're getting introduced to him.
And it's great because like it's like this movie is so brilliant because he is literally a con man, but he can see the spirit world and communicate with them.
Yeah.
But he gets ghosts in on him. And I'm trying to figure out still like how these ghosts are his business partners or whatever. Like what they were actually going to gain, because like we do get into some like fringe benefit things they talk about like once,
I think they were like trying to make things right so they can actually pass on to the other side.
Oh no, dude, because the one guy wanted cigars and the other guy was like
well, yeah, I mean, yeah, they wanted him to like blow the smoke in his face, right, and shit like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't. I don't think we really find out why they are business partners.
It just seems like they're friends. It's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, so McFly gets ghosts to haunt places, and they plant his business card like somewhere in the scene of their shenanigans.
Yeah.
And he gets called to go do like an exorcism, but it's all bullshit. You know, he has like a little
like a toaster
automated
oven.
like toaster oven that spits out a little bag of dog turds that he like throws down the garbage disposal. And
it's like a bag of air, right?
It's just it's nothing. And
doesn't he have like a water
like
gun?
a real pistol that shoots holy water.
It looks like a replica Beretta or some kind of shit.
Yeah.
He fucking whips it out and scares the shit out of people.
And it's funny because the ghosts themselves like say like their back hurts because they're lifting the fucking bed and shit.
Yeah. It ends up just being funnier because this is a horror comedy.
And the ghost bitch about like riding in the trunk of his car because like
they make like a chicken dance, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. In one of their hauntings, they have like a flashlight casting a shadow with a fucking chicken like walking down the hallway.
He gets after him. He's like, that's not scary. That's funny. What the fuck is wrong with you?
So like, and the ghosts kind of go like somewhat rogue with the game plan because one of the first like hauntings we see Frank show up to, he's like, oh, did they like bang the seat of the toilet?
Yeah.
No. Did they turn the dining room table in a clockwise direction or counterclockwise or whatever? It's like, no. Did they lift the bed up?
Like the bed's floating?
Yes.
Does your name begin with a B?
Yeah, pretty much. And so he's like at the house, just like, you guys are like an asshole.
Yeah, he tells him, he's like, you made me look like an asshole. Like after he's like that's the game plan. You know?
It's just great.
Yeah.
and he mentions, we'll get to why this is the case. He's like, which one of you put the fucking number on the guy's head?
Right.
Because the guy that he goes to con, I think it's the number 12 or 11.
No, it was like 43
he was like 30 something.
Yeah. It's like by that time the number's like
I think he was like 38 actually.
Yeah, right.
It his memory begins with 13.
That's right. Yeah.
And later on, granted, he forgets this. Later on, it has plot significance. And
yeah. So I mean, the guy whose name is Ray in the movie, he has a number. Was it 30 something on his head? And he's an asshole. He doesn't believe Michael J. He doesn't believe Michael J. Fox's character.
No,
at all.
Yeah, because he's like, this is bullshit. Fuck you. I think the ghost hits him over the back of the head with a skillet or something like that.
But I think importantly, we should set up why both the ghosts are at Ray and Dr. Lucy's fucking house to begin with. Because begin the movie, fucking, and in this movie, dude, fucking Michael J. Fox's character, Frank Bannister, drives like a fucking asshole.
Yeah, he cannot drive
like
shit.
He fucking drives over curbs all the time. You know, he cuts corners on the other side of the wrong side of the road. Like, I'm surprised he hasn't like died in 8 million car crashes. And maybe that's like part of his like, I need to beat up my wife. I'll drive like an asshole again.
No, it's his devil may care attitude for life. At that point, he doesn't give a shit. Maybe if he ends up taking himself out, then like that's a benefit.
Now, does he knock down the mailbox or the fence?
The fence.
Right?
He just drives over the fucking road.
Like, well, he fucking like gets sidetracked, like looking at like the floorboards of his car because his business cards fell over.
Right. Yeah.
Dickhead, you have like 8 million of them. It's okay if they're on the fucking floorboard.
And Ray comes in with the funniest line ever. You've ruptured my lawn. I was like, what?
Oh yeah. So Frank dodges a fucking like Mack truck and ends up barreling into the fucking lawn of Ray's place.
Yep.
And yeah, as he comes out, he's like, "You've ruptured my lawn." Great line. I agree, Roland.
Yeah, I was like, "What the fuck?" Kind of phrasing. All right, whatever.
Yeah. So I mean, the reason he goes to their house for the con,
because Ray is like all this whole bullshit, like, you know, well, I'm going to sue your ass, and then, you know, of course, Marty's like, no need to get litigious.
Yeah. Here's my card. And then, you know, Ray tears it up as he's driving away. I've got your
he's like, paranormal researcher. Oh, this is great.
Yeah. And then, he drives off and he's like, I got your license plate number, asshole. Like, you had his card.
But Marty did commit a crime.
Oh.
He killed a gnome, man.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, like he backed
he's
over
backing out. He angles to fucking knock over.
What was its name? It had like a funny name because like Ray like screams out, "No, Bronzy" or some shit like that.
Not
like,
my Opsu.
Yeah.
Not my Enlil.
Like he right in the Ishtars. So yeah, he. I guess his car, he just sicks his buddies on him or whatever, and they come in and cock block the living shit out of Ray when he's chilling with his waifu Lucy. And really they did her a favor because she wasn't into it anyways. Like the second you watch their interaction or whatever, like Ray's an asshole.
As he looks over to me.
Indeed.
The character, we're not talking about you here.
Well, because apparently it wasn't a good marriage. I'm sorry. It wasn't what you would call a good marriage.
Wait, I need to turn both my shoulders for this. Yeah.
It would have benefited us to have a video for that. Huh?
Yeah.
What an asshole. So Yeah, so just as sweaty ass, stank balls Ray's trying to, get Lucy in the mood.
I'm sorry, I can't help not associate this with you shooting barbs at Ray.
Ray was doing some squats. And,
I don't believe it anymore.
There you go. I took you out of it. All right. Here we go. Back down to earth.
Fantasy bubble bursts. All right, cool. Back to the movie.
Yeah, there we go. So yeah, they
wait, is Ray still working out?
Not lately, no.
No. In the movie, just so
in the movie.
Keep
yeah, he is working out in the movie.
Because later we're gonna talk about Ray again. I'll be like, wait a minute.
He was doing some squats or some such, and then he jumps in the bed with all looking all gross, and then they, Frank's buddies show up and start floating shit around. They attack him with a doll or something like that.
Did he find
holding on to the dress?
Did he find the business card first in the bed?
Yeah.
He finds the business card.
He finds Frank's business card first, and
he's like, I thought I tore it up. Or something.
Like, what the fuck is this doing here? And then the bed levitates, and they're like, whoa.
Did he come back?
Yeah.
And then he has this really gaudy fucking Elvis statue in the corner of their bedroom. It starts floating. He's like, the king or whatever.
Yeah. It was funny because we were watching and I was like, I don't remember that shitty statue. Fuck, that looks tacky. And then it starts floating across the screen. Okay, all right, I'm back now. But so that's when they call Frank up, and he just shows up with his little squirt gun and toaster oven of doom.
Like, what is that little eye contraption that he has? He's looking around.
Oh yeah,
he's
like a monoscope or whatever.
Bad.
Yeah. What does he say? Spontaneous psychopathic some shit or another.
Like paranormal psychopathic kinesis or some shit like that.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, recurring paranormal kinesis, I think, or something
spontaneous
like that.
recurring some shit.
Yeah, spontaneous recurring,
masturbation.
After getting the fact that they're lifting the bed, after he goes down the list of shit that they should have done.
Right. That's the thing.
Yeah, right. That's why I'm here. The bed. And not the fact that because he goes into their kitchen and all of their shit is just thrown everywhere. You figure he would have led with that. What happened here?
And what's the con is that he goes there to and what's the price that he gives the couple?
He charges. He's like, normally
he starts at he's like $249.99.
Yeah,
but then he starts a
surcharge,
additional surcharge for after midnight, and then there's gas in my vehicle, and I don't work out of pocket,
Yeah.
So this is going to cost you $450,
right? And that's when they're like, "What?" Well,
and the chick's
Lucy's just pay him, bitch, and of course Ray is a tight ass. And,
the whole time he's just this is bullshit.
Yeah. He's like, get your shit and get the fuck out of here. Because as it is anyways, Frank is just like, hey, so why don't we just call it even for the lawn?
Yeah.
So he just sent his friendos in there to fuck him up, so that he could square away any possible chance of debt.
Yeah.
So speaking of the character of Frank Bannister, Roland came up with an interesting parallel kind of scenario in so do you want to lay it out, Roland?
So I kind of thought that Frank Bannister's, this is what Venkman would have been if he had run his own if he had kept on being a Ghostbuster without everyone else and gone
so he would have just been
business.
a con man, basically.
Well, he pretty much is, in Ghostbusters 2 he's running that psychic fucking talk show. Right.
True, and he has that little squeegee thing that he's.
That's right.
What is that? What the fuck is that thing?
And then actually in Ghostbusters, the first Ghostbusters, when he goes to Dana's apartment, he totally bullshits her with all of the
When he's shocking his students or whatever, which one is this? It's a heart. Oh, sorry. Zzz. All right, next one. Which one's this?
And of course, he only does it for the woman because he wants to get in her pants.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, it's a heart. It's something else. He's like, wow. I think you've got a talent.
I think the one con thing that he does, of course, to like seem like he knows exactly what he's doing, is that when he hits the keys, he's like, "Oh, they hate this."
Yeah.
And she knows he's full of shit. So you know what? You're probably right that this could have been Dr. Venkman if he had run his own.
If he was a true psychic, and if he was able to see the dead.
Yeah, went to the corner. Yeah.
He probably would have done a good job with this role too.
So I mean, before Frank leaves, he does see the number on the guy's head glowing.
Right. Yeah.
And that's when he asks,
like, "Hey,
his
what's
ghost
with that?"
friends,
Yeah.
what was that about? And of course, they don't know.
They're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And he's like, "That was a bunny."
So we find out. I think it's the next day, right? He dies, right? Ray dies, or a few days later.
Yes.
Next day, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. Ray's spectre is running through the like just running
down
on the sidewalk.
Downtown,
Yeah. And he knocks.
Just like out for a jog though, and then all of a sudden he sees like fucking Frank. And he's like, "Hey, fucker!" And knocks him down.
over.
Like he bumps into him though. He doesn't like aggressively intentionally.
No, yeah, he's just running through people because he's panicked or whatever. He's like, "What the fuck is going on?" And then that's when Frank tells him, look, bitch, you're dead. You know, like, why didn't you go into the light? You know, what are you still doing here? Well, I guess you better do this and this and this. And maybe if you get another chance in a year, like you can try again or some shit. And
I like how Frank so calmly explains to him how to pass on to the other side. Because apparently he knows. Because he's seen like so many people.
Well, I mean, like Frank is like at this time though, he's been like doing this for like 5 years now.
Yeah,
like his wife died.
As you see later on, they can see, like he can see in the like it's shown in the movie that a tunnel of light appears upon each person's death, and that's when they're drawn up in to the great beyond or whatever, and like Frank can see it. So
and whenever he goes to that Ray's funeral. I mean, we meet all his Franks, like pretty much his only friends or his acquaintances in the fucking cemetery.
With the exception of, what the hell's the guy's name? Fuck.
Drill Sergeant Hartman.
Yeah, he plays, he's another A-lister to me, but.
Yeah, the fucking drill sergeant from Full Metal Jacket.
Right.
Who like was,
He the late great where the hell is the guy?
Go up, he's up there.
Is he?
Yeah, up. I
always forget his name.
Just scroll up to heaven, Roland.
Scroll up to heaven. He's right there. No, that's not him. That's not him. No, up. Is it Arlie Emery right there? Hiles right there.
Miles Hiles.
Hiles right there.
Arlie Emery. Yeah, that's him. Arlie Emery. Ermy. There we go.
Yeah.
He plays a
basically the same role, except for like he does slightly more PG.
Yeah,
like,
maybe this is in the fucking universe of Full Metal Jacket because he is dead. He dies in Full Metal Jacket.
And they bury him in that little shithole town.
Yeah,
poor guy, man. No one was so angry.
He hates Frank.
Growing up there,
he beats his ass like when he first meets him, as Frank is trying to take Ray to his funeral.
Yeah.
And I mean, actually, this was a pretty funny scene too. Like I was telling Daniel,
he does it in style, man.
Yeah, Ray falls into the hole in his
grave.
In his grave, and they lower the coffin down on top of him, and you just
sees his body.
Yeah, he phases through the coffin, and then like all of a sudden he's face to face with his corpse, and he just screams. Like I was like, oh, that's great. That was such a cool.
Like, he's still like trapped in like the hole, right? He just can't figure like, oh, I'm a ghost.
He can't get out. He can't float out, and like
so
they're
they
throwing
start
dirt
like
at him,
dumping the dirt, and they start burying himself. And so he's sitting there screaming for Frank. He's like, I'm getting buried and stuff. And then like his mouth is covered. And
then like by that time he looks pathetic. He's like sad and shit. And then finally Frank reaches down and like yanks him up because he can touch the ghosts can be touched. Like it's just sort of
they can interact. Yes,
I mean like they can pick things up or whatever. Like I guess depends on how they concentrate or how long they've been around, because his buddies do that, right? They levitate things. They
Valley Strange episode 13. Can ghosts feel? Getting the ghost sex and all that shit, man.
So they
do ghosts come?
Well, like
ectoplasm.
Yeah, ectogism. So the one of
ectogism.
One of Frank's buddies, the sheriff, the judge.
Oh, the judge. Yeah.
At one point, he does bang a mummy in a sarcophagus. What does he say? Like, oh,
I like how they hold still like that.
I like how they don't move. Yeah. What does he say? Like
he was all shaking. I was like, perfect teeth,
good bones. Yeah, like he's looking at it.
And he just hops into the fucking sarcophagus,
and you just see his ass like bucking out in and out of the coffin.
That's probably one of my favorite scenes when he just the coffin just falls over and you just see his ass fucking just bouncing up and down.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. And like they make the joke or whatever before he does that because he attacks the villain of the movie with his, he's like, guess I ain't shooting blanks no more. And then, and then that's when he sees the sarcophagus and is like, goes over there
and because the judge, so he's a very old ghost.
Yeah. He's a Wild West.
There's a fun scene with him and Frank where they're sitting down and the judge talking about, he's like, oh, I have a nice little plot of dirt at the graveyard or whatever, like my time is about done.
My ectoplasm's dried up. Don't tell
the boys, but because they look up to me. Yeah. But my ectoplasm's all dried up.
It's a very heartfelt scene,
Yeah.
Dude. For this movie, yeah, it was, man. That was the fucking Grammy moment, man. Or not Grammy, fucking
Oscar,
yeah, whatever. Those awards anyway.
Should we talk about, I guess, the antagonist or whatever?
Yes, he's like the villain of this movie. Yeah.
This is what brings about the main plot of this particular story.
And the movie does open up
that bitch.
The bad folks, right? It's in the house, right?
Yes, but that isn't explained. Like it's
no, it's not explained. But like we get introduced to these characters,
right? It's
not the person who's actually doing the killing.
No,
we get introduced to him later, but we do see the image of that person, or like
the specter of him.
Get introduced.
He's like it looks like the Grim Reaper, basically.
You get introduced to, I guess, the main sort of subplot for the movie. I mean, aside from like the story of the
story
stars.
of Michael J. Fox trying to raise $15,000 to save his house.
His ratty fucking house that's falling apart and shit. Yeah, it's leaky as fuck. It's half built. Yeah.
Yeah, he saws off parts of his own home to stoke his own fire.
Yeah,
and that's hilarious.
Yep.
And he was an architect, just to throw that out there. That he was an architect.
Not really mysterious.
Building
it was
his house
just straight up
his
just
wife
like moiter.
Died in the car crash.
It was a rampage.
Right.
It was like Columbine.
But yeah, so the person's Dee Wallace's character, who's Patricia Bradley, she lives at home with her mother.
What the fuck are you talking about?
And
but like
she's being attacked by.
Okay, hi, welcome back. So I was talking about the initial murders.
Yeah.
No, it was a string of.
Right. Yes. Okay. The initial murder. Sorry, I was talking about the ones like that.
Yes,
were happening within
chain of 28 deaths. Yes,
within the main time period of the movie, as opposed to when they started. I had forgot to mention this before, but I was reading some little behind the scenes and just sort of like inspiration stuff for this movie. But apparently, the Frightners had originally been planned to be a side offshoot of Tales from the Crypt. Yeah, let me see.
Was it an offshoot? I thought it was supposed to be its own separate series, like Tales from the Crypt.
A spin-off, excuse me, is what I think I meant to say. Spin-off. So that was where I thought I saw like a lot of inspiration from the camera angles that they were using. I was thinking of that and like Evil Dead, because they have like a lot of those sort of like slanted,
janky,
slanted, sort of long winding kind of camera shots. And a lot of like the standard horror, or not standard, like, I mean, the more typical horror shots where again, like they zoom in on their eyes, their mouth, their faces or whatever.
You could say that probably Peter Jackson and Sam Raimi have kind of a similar style whenever it comes to the camera work.
Mm-hmm.
And you say speaking of that scene from fucking in the interrogation when the camera goes in forward, it kind of comes back out and stuff like that.
That totally reminded me of Evil Dead, man.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure maybe there was like some inspiration because I mean Sam Raimi did inspire a lot of people. Like whenever they would film, I mean you can kind of do like certain things, makeshift, do certain camera angles if you don't have any money on a budget. You just be more creative.
Yeah.
And then those angles probably weren't something that I guess a more professional quote unquote director would do because they probably think it's bad. But I mean like it became an innovative way of filming movies.
Creative.
Yes, creative.
Wow.
So were we back on the murders?
So yeah, like in the at the time of the movie, within the movie, I guess people
in the
start
present time of this past movie, yes.
So people start having like unexplained deaths. Their hearts stop, but like all of their arteries are burst when they.
No, their arteries are like clean. It's just like their heart's just like crushed.
Yeah.
Excuse me, crushed.
Yeah,
yes.
They don't show any signs of like heart disease or anything.
No, yeah, they're completely healthy. It's just that their hearts are crushed. And what happens is the last or the latest of the murders, Frank happens to be witness to one of them, and so he's spotted like leaving the scene, and that's when the sheriff. Who knows Frank actually personally? They're I guess they're pretty kind friendly with each other.
Almost,
yeah. Goes and has sends his deputies to bring him in.
And one of those deputies, Ray, Roland picked it out, but he was
Dozer.
Dozer, yeah,
from the Matrix.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, wow. Man, he's a terrible shot.
I was like, dude, wasn't he in the Matrix? And I was like, so I thought of Tank first, who was the little brother, as it turns out. But yeah, the older brother who dies, it's Dozer. Yeah,
Dozer.
That's the same like cop that was in that fucking scene.
Nice.
Which,
sheriff deputy rather.
So they do have again. This just lends towards the fact that this movie has very good talent in it. Like Dozer, that's what I'm gonna call him from now. Fuck. He was kind of wasted in this movie. Like he was there and it was funny for the most part. Yeah, I don't think he really had any lines and. He was not like he was. I think their main scene was when they follow Frank because Frank ends up finding out like what happened, what's been killing these people. The reason he flees the scene, besides the fact that he's shitting himself, is that he sees what looks like the Grim Reaper. He sees this like hooded figure or whatever reach into the heart of this random guy, and the guy just falls over dead. So he's chasing him at this point. And follows him to, I guess, the Reaper's next victim, which happens to be it's a museum, right? They're having like an exhibit,
right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the dude that was killed was actually the reporter, and it was interesting. Like this movie could have gone off on a different tangent, I think.
Yeah,
where like the death ghost dude is like trying to protect Bannister almost.
Yeah,
where the guy who writes a slanderous article against Bannister
ends up getting killed,
killing some of his payroll.
Yeah,
he's killed. Like he's the next victim after that whole shit or whatever.
And then I guess the editor of the paper, she's next.
She's the next one. She's number 40.
She has it out for Bannister.
Okay, no. So sorry. So now Ray was 37.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The guy in the restaurant was 38. The dude who died was 39, and 40 was the editor.
The editor, the one that hates Bannister. She, like when she's dying, she's like, "Did you like killing me? I hope you had fun." Or what does she tell him? Like, "This is your thing."
You're
and then
sick.
As she's
this
like
is
getting
how you get
pulled
your
up,
pleasure. Yeah.
As she's getting pulled up to the through the tunnel of light, because he tries to save her initially, like. He pulls her away from the Reaper and knocks her out on her ass because she's like she won't come with him, and he's running away.
He's trying to save her.
Yeah. He's trying to save her and run away from the cops.
His ghost buddies show up and help, don't they?
What?
because like he does like punch her in the face, knock her out or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's the judge comes in, saves the day or whatever.
Yeah, so the judge
the other
stops
two
death.
dudes are fucking around because I was thinking about how the Reaper got to her.
Yeah.
And then, but Marty McFly was under like gunfire or the
so like the deputies show up and they immediately pull their guns on him.
The other cop were like,
while he's surrounded by people, and they just point their guns at him and say, get on the ground, all the standard cop stuff. And
Roland said they were good cops, because they automatically pulled their guns out.
Yeah, and they shot like 15 bullets or some shit like that. All of them, of course, missed. I was like, well, that I guess that's Hollywood for you, but like, because in reality they would have all hit.
Yeah, and in that scene when
like, wait, no, he's still alive. Keep going.
The two buddy ghosts of Marty,
right? Yeah, Stewart and Clyde
pull the mummy along. And the cops are shooting at it, and then fucking Clyde's like, "Nice shooting, Tex."
Yeah, yeah, he's fucking.
But they're
with
like,
Dozer.
but they totally don't fuck that corpse up like near as much as they should have as trained professionals, dude. Like
they missed a lot.
She was mostly intact, and she was basically bones and dust.
Right. So what happens is that when Frank originally gets to the museum, he sees the person dying and the writer die, and everyone's gathered around him, freaking out, whatever. And the editor chick is there in the back. She's like, "You'll get no work here," or whatever. You'll parasite. I don't forget what she says. She calls him like a parasite or something like that. Frank turns around and sees the carved number under her forehead. And he's like, "You're next." Shit.
But it's like ghost carved, so it's like paranormal carved. Like
right, yeah. No one else could see it, and that's when the editor's like, "He just threatened my life.
Right.
He just threatened," going all full Karen on everybody, and that's when the deputies show up. Yo, man, this chick is a huge drama queen. Huge drama queen.
I know, but why invoke Karens in that? Like,
well, she kind of has
a whole dickhead
her hair.
thing,
Her hair is like
Roland's.
Her hair is like one shade away from.
We're in our 30s,
so
we're not 19. You Karen.
Yeah, but like they've been around forever. It's the easiest meme to fucking use. Yeah, to reference.
Oh, okay. So why did Karen only become popular last year? You dumb bitch.
Because of the internet. I don't know. Fuck.
Reddit.
Well, that's always been a fucking thing for a long ass time.
Oh, has it, Roland?
Please.
Cite your sources.
No, that's dumb.
Oh,
what are you?
So you can't.
No, I don't fucking wanna, because that's silly. You're being a snarky little bitch, and that's cool. But
I'm not being snarky. I want an evidence claim. And look at you, look at you, just like our president.
If you want to know, man, you're sitting in front of a computer. You can look it up yourself.
My keyboard's
but
on
I've
the
only
floor,
got
actually.
two monitors.
Really
I'm sorry.
away.
I need a third one. Then maybe I can
Roland,
do. I'll have one just for Daniel's bullshit. Just set aside.
Roland.
No.
Okay. A, my keyboard's on the floor.
Woohoo.
B, you made the claim.
B,
you have to defend it.
No, I don't.
C, yes. C, I'm gonna turn my two fingers around and go, "Fuck you, you twat." And then 3,
I don't feel responsible for any of the things I say.
3, my keyboard's all the way down there.
Oh, boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. You said A, B, and 3. Okay, just checking. I wanted to
he
make
said
sure.
C.
A, B, 3. Yeah,
C.
that's how
You
the
said
alphabet
C?
works.
I thought you said 3.
Dumbass. Didn't you go to school?
That's how alpha numbers work. Gotcha.
How did you get a degree in anything?
The number bet. Out of pity, I guess. I don't know. I they had no choice. Anyways,
okay, the woman, the editor, she ends up dying.
Right.
What happens to Frank after this?
He turns himself in.
Right. And this is where we get the scene, right?
The best
one of the
scene.
best scenes in this fucking movie.
Right.
And that is with the interrogation between Jeffrey Combs' character, which is what's his name again?
Oh, it's
Dammers.
Dammers, right? And
Milton Dammers.
Frank Bannister.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about this scene for a bit, and we mentioned it a little bit before.
This scene's awesome.
It is one of the best scenes in this entire movie.
What is Dammers'
It's almost like
again?
You should like have a class in acting just by this fucking scene.
Well, no, actually, I think that the scene when Dammers is like, oh, he's not going to show up anytime soon.
Yeah,
was like
really
the
funny.
second occurrence of him showing up or whatever.
Yeah,
but his first occurrence showing up was hilarious because it was after the random dude got killed in the bathroom at
this is when
restaurant.
The girl's in the
Lucy.
The police officer.
Yeah. So the sheriff is interrogating Lucy, and then he's like, "Oh, give me a second," and he goes out and meets like the FBI agent who is played by Jeffrey Combs, who's Agent Dammers from the FBI, and his introduction, like, holy shit, it is the most awkward shit I've seen in a movie in a long time. Because he's like, furtively looking at, the chick in the office. And anytime he comes across any like window or door, he just kind of like stays at the edge.
Yeah, he just peeks out like a creep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a timid little goblin.
And he can't handle screaming. He freaks the fuck out whenever there's
scream from women. He can't be yelled at by women.
So I can't yell at by women, yeah.
So after like he comes in as a total hard ass because he's like, at what exact time did this happen? Did he use like too much table salt or whatever?
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah. Yeah, all these other questions. And then she at one point like flips out and she's like, I don't know why the fuck you're asking me all this bullshit. And then these are my words, because they're better. And he like starts to like yak. Like he literally goes to throw up, and the sheriff's like, "Give me a second." And the chick the whole time is like, "What the fuck is going on? Like, what is even happening, dude?" Like this agent comes in all hard ass, and then like, "Oh, he's going to puke." Apparently, okay, cool, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, and Dammers relates to the sheriff. He's like, I have a problem with women yelling at me.
Yeah.
So the interrogation between Dammers and Frank Bannister is probably one of the best monologues you can hear because he's going through like the timeline.
Oh, right.
Of,
so after
everything
this
that's
whole
happened.
awkward, just set the scene for our listeners. After all the whole awkward, interaction between, Lucy and the sheriff, like the next day, Dammers is there. It's like talking to the sheriff very confidently how like, oh, I don't think that Bannister's going to show up and show his face anytime soon. And then in walks fucking Frank into the fucking police station.
Yeah.
And so then they throw him into the fucking interrogation room. And I'll let you take away from here, Ray, and Roland in a sec. But initially, they're sitting down. It's the sheriff, fucking Frank, and Dammers.
Yeah.
And then Dammers pulls his like fucking FBI little dick out hard.
Yeah, to get the fuck out of the room, right?
By the power vested in me by the President of the United States, get the hell out of this room. Yeah.
Yep. Like and that's pretty much exactly what he said. Yeah.
And so basically he's just going through the timeline like of all the events that have happened leading up to this point.
Because Dammers is what is he? He's a specialist in paranormal.
They say paranormal psychology, but it should have just been abnormal psychology because
that would have made more sense.
Because
that's a thing.
Because not initially, but like at the heart of it, he doesn't believe these cult phenomenon things are real.
They're all hooey.
So
he's done a lot of these
abnormal
cases.
psyche then.
Right.
And we should have Bryce on because his dad's this fucking psych professor. God damn it. That would have been great. God damn it. And he actually taught a course in abnormal psychology.
Oh.
And the legend goes that he would show bits of Clockwork Orange in that fucking class. Let's talk about Abby Psych. Yeah.
Well, that would have been interesting.
Sure.
So, Bryce, this episode's for you.
I guess.
And anybody else?
Roland, I mean, I know this is probably one of your favorite scenes in the movie.
Well, yeah.
What I know it's the point where like
This
he reveals the
scene's
breastplate.
amazing.
Right. Yeah.
Because he thinks Frank is like trying to pull some kind of like he's trying to kill him or crush his heart.
So it's weird because like the guy's a contradiction to himself. Dammers doesn't believe in any of this stuff, but then he also says things to where like, you know, this like what I think happened
Did you know that in 1970 something?
Yeah,
that this random ass crazy bitch stopped the heart of a toad with her mind.
Yeah. Yeah. After he tells Bannister that he thinks that Bannister is having some sort of like what is it called? Like he has a separate personality that goes around killing everyone.
Yeah, he's like, no, he's like this Grim Reaper figure is just a like manifestation of your own, like it's a split personality bullshit that you like escape to when you kill something or whatever.
Right, which started with your wife kind of thing. Like he's implying that Frank killed his wife in that accident, in that car crash.
Sweet Deborah, I think her name was.
I think so. I'm not sure.
Yeah, sweet
Deborah Bannister.
Deborah.
Yeah, sweet Deborah Bannister. Yeah, right.
So Frank doesn't remember any of that to begin with, but he starts getting like he starts sort of
cracking.
He starts getting anxious. Like he was already very nervous and cracked, you know, from before with all the like the grim reapage and that woman getting killed in front of him. And so this kind of just sort of brings out some like hints of flashes of his memories. But while this is going on, Dammers starts thinking that, again, like the reason, like he mentioned that woman who used the power of her mind to stop the heart of a turd or whatever, and and the reason he brings that up is because that's what he thinks that Bannister is doing. He thinks that Bannister is going around and killing these people with the power of his brain, and so as Frank is having his flashbacks and like freaking out or whatever as he's trying to wrap his head around what the fuck he's seeing in his mind, excuse me. Dammers thinks that he's like, why are you twitching? Like, why are you shaking? Like, oh my God, you're trying to do it to me, aren't you? You're trying to kill me with your mind. And then like he sort of backs up and then rips his shirt open and says,
it's like joke's on you, basically.
Yeah. Like I'm wearing a lead breastplate. And I was
that has nipples on it.
Yeah, I was telling Daniel, like, it's got nipples. Why? Why does it have fucking nipples? And that's it was fucking. That was the quote that I got. That I got Jeffrey Combs to sign the picture of Dammers on when we went to the
convention,
horror convention.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, I'm wearing a lead breastplate, and then he signed it. It was fucking great. I think I said this before when we were talking about our trip out there. I didn't ask him or anything to do any of that. Like I just, you know, we went there, we paid money, and picked a picture. I saw that picture, and I was like, oh yes, Dammers, yes. And I just gave it to him, and he wrote that quote on there and signed it. And I fucking read it, and I was so happy. I was so fucking happy. It's the funniest shit. Because I hadn't seen the movie in a few years, and the second I read that, like I just remembered, like, oh, that's perfect. Like, that is so perfect. And
so you and like 65,000 other people,
yeah, those lucky fucks. Oh, we lucky few.
We're a legion. We lucky fucking legion.
Yay. So yeah, they after that, they throw Frank into a cell by himself, and and Dammers is watching him the whole time as he's in the cell. Slowly. He'll crack, he'll break. They all do, and
he's like, I think this will go to. It's going
to end as a suicide.
Case will end as suicide before it goes to trial.
Yeah, because the cop, one of the sheriffs or one of the deputies walks up behind him and like, dude, you've got no evidence. He's like, it doesn't matter. He's going to kill himself. They all do. And he just walks away. Like, man. Yeah.
He seems pretty satisfied with that outcome, too.
He is. Like, he's a fucking asshole.
He really is. Yeah.
He's a fucking asshole. At one point later on, he rips his shirt open again, and he's not wearing the He's not wearing the breastplate.
that's when he's in the cemetery.
Yeah.
And he has the lights, the headlights flashing on him.
So he's trying to, so he gets in front of a
This is when he has
car.
Lucy in the car, right?
Right. So he abducts Lucy.
He abducts her,
because he's an asshole at this point. Like Frank escapes from the. Well, I mean, like he
Frank
sort of has it out.
Jail, and then actually, we're gonna get to a cool point because, or cool part of the movie because, fucking, when Frank's in jail, his ghost buddies go try to talk to him, but like he stopped believing, so he couldn't see them. But then
I think he was just like stuck in his
up,
head more than anything,
and basically jostles him into a scenario where he's able to like re-see his ghosts buddies, and she
just snaps him out of his funk or whatever, because he still can't remember. He still can't remember what happened between himself and his wife during the accident. And with those few flashes that he has, like he's starting to like crack and like be convinced,
piece everything together.
He's starting to think that he did kill her, kind of
Right.
thing. He's like, "Fuck! Like you don't know anything about me, Lucy. Like I don't want to hurt you. Like, but I could be the fucking killer." And that's when she's just like, "No, you're not. You're a nice guy." And he's
Never
like,
hurt anyone.
"Yeah." And he's like, "I guess I am."
But after all that bullshit, they break out of the fucking jail cell, and they run into fucking Dammers in the hallway as they're escaping, and Dammers pulls out a gun,
right?
And the doctor chick's like runs behind Dammers, like, I don't know what's happening. He's gone crazy.
Yeah.
And then she fucking grabs a fucking fire hydrant to subdue his ass.
The fire extinguisher, yeah. She blasts
fire
him.
hydrant.
That would have been even more fucked up. They probably would have killed his ass if they would have hit him with that. The guy guy's like made of glass.
Michael J. Fox runs by, kicks him in the fucking ribs, and then the gun just perfectly jumps in the air for him to catch, which is perfect.
Yeah, it was great.
So as they amscray, they get you kind of a dead end, and they're like, what the fuck do we do? And Frank's like, there's only one way to kind of resolve this. I need to have an out-of-body experience.
Yeah.
And he
was gonna blow his brains out.
Skull. Yeah. She's like, no, I have a better way.
Drugs.
Or says, wait, drugs and cold.
It's okay, we can do this. I'm a doctor.
I'm a doctor.
And so speaking
of the fact that like Frank's gonna put the gun to his head, like he's just ready to not come back either.
Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck. He's like, I gotta stop this. Yeah, I mean, because so what happens in the prison?
She's like, I can't revive you from a bullet hole in your fucking brain.
Right. It's okay. I'll fix this too. Frank was gonna stay in the jail, but he escapes because they get attacked by death after Frank sees the numbers carved onto Lucy's forehead.
Right.
And so that's when he freaks out and they get attacked. And so his ghost buddies save him. They unfortunately don't. They don't make it again. And while they're fighting the Reaper, Bannister gets, or rather Lucy gets the cop to open the cell, and Bannister just sort of like kicks the door open, and like when they open it and knocks out the cop, and that's when they run away. And so after Lucy gives him, or rather suggests an alternative, which really like it would have been easier if he just blew his brains out. He could have just gone and fucked him up, and then like we could have watched like the rest of the comedy unfold, because like he would have been dead and obviously not gone into the light, and maybe he could have been playing with his buddies, or I don't know what. Like it would have been funny. They put him into a state of suspended animation. She just injects him with something, and I guess it lowers his heart rate down to nothing, and they toss him in the fridge and crank down the temperature, and that's when Dammers comes in and sees that he's in there, and they're like, and Lucy's like, I need to revive him in like 20 minutes or something, and
actually fucking Dammers fucking comment when he looks into the people, he's like, what? I didn't realize you had an interest in cryogenics.
And when she tells him, they need to revive him, he's like, why would we do that? And that's when he fucking goes into full-blown insanity. and he takes her. He tosses her in the back of the car, a cop car, and drives out to the cemetery.
For some reason.
Yeah. Like he tells
to show her the roadmap of pain, man. That's
right.
the whole point.
Yeah. He tells her like, I find cemeteries to be very, what is it? What does he say? Like peaceful or quiet or
exact
something.
Words, but
like he says some cheeseball stuff, and she's like screaming at him, like "son of a bitch," and he's like,
so he jumps out of the car, and then
he jumps in front of the car and pulls his shirt up, and that's when you see like he's covered in scars. So as he's before he jumps out,
he gets out of the car,
before he jumps out, like because Dammers is wearing leather gloves throughout the whole movie, and he takes them off at this point. And she's screaming at him, and he holds his hand up to his head, and then you just see in the rearview mirror that he's got a swastika tattooed on a palm of his right hand. And she sees that, and he sort of sees that she sees, and that's when he goes in to talk about like, oh yeah, I knew Charlie. Yeah. Like I was
the family sex slave for 6 months.
Yeah,
6 months.
And he's like, I was an undercover yuppie for my country, and that's when he jumps out of the car and like pulls his shirt apart, and you see like all these like scars and like brands and shit on him. He's like, this was the children of
family,
the children of Lucifer or something like that. I was like they took you to the heights of orgiastic pleasure or some shit like that. And he's like, this was like he's just pointing to all these other parts. Like he's pretty fucked up actually.
Like this group engaged in ritualistic cannibalism.
And then he's like, now there are benefits to what does he say? There are benefits to pain has its benefits, I think is what he says. And then that's when he tries to do the whole like mind bending, mind over matter kind of thing. And he can't see what the fuck is happening, but what happens is that at this point Frank's a ghost, and he's been walking around following them, and he jumps in the front seat.
He's pretty excited. He thinks he's doing it with his mind.
Frank jumps in the ghost. Frank jumps in the front seat and turns on the car and starts backing it up.
When he's doing this, he's like,
yeah. So because Dahmer is doing some like little like finger guns or whatever the hell kind of thing, and like I would use the power of my mind. And then the car turns on, the lights, like it puts it in gear, and he's like, I'm doing it.
I'm doing this with my mind.
I'm moving it with the power. And then like it starts backing up down the driveway, and he's like, no way, come back. And that's when Death, the Reaper shows up, and Frank gets pulled out of the car to fight with it.
Yeah, it's the Frank Bannister death battle. But this is where we get introduced to the fact that like
we get introduced to the villain proper. Kind of
he's
thing.
not death. He's just a form. That's just his form.
He's just a ghost.
It's just Jake Busey's character, which is
a serial
Johnny
killer
Bartlett.
That was killed some time ago.
And apparently got himself out of hell somehow.
Well,
he made a deal.
It's explained in the end of the movie that does he make a deal?
I thought he made a deal. Yeah,
I think he mentioned that. But what was explained was that his girly girl, that is to say, Bartlett's accomplice, apparently had like a stack of Ouija boards in her house.
Oh, and she was like summoning him.
And like she was able to create a direct line to Johnny Boy, and I guess it sort of snowballed from there at that point into this story. Like Frank beats the fuck out of Bartlett. He pulls out what the hell is the guy's name again? The dead military dude.
Hiles.
Hiles. He gets these two light machine guns that Hiles was well, no, actually they were probably full on was using, because Hiles was like the sort of the guardian of the cemetery, but Bartlett
somehow he can like just fashion out of thin air, or thin plasma, whatever.
Right.
Is a whole weapons. 2 fucking machine guns.
Yeah. And he pulls him out, and just as he's about to get interesting, you know, or whatever, like Bartlett just fucking cuts him in half. Like he wishbones his ass. And Frank goes and picks up those guns and just starts, you know, like
railing.
Yeah, on Bartlett and whooping his ass. And then later on, he beats his ass. He still escapes because as he's about to finish off Bartlett, Lucy brings him back. She resuscitates him. He'd already reached his time limit, and that's when he tells her, like, you've got to get that chick out of that house.
Yeah, because by this point they don't know that she's in on it.
Right. Yeah.
They still think she's like just an innocent victim. Yeah.
Right. They still think that she's a victim. Because
and she's just as batshit crazy as the fucking.
Yeah, she's a part of it or whatever. She was an accomplice.
But like I feel like D. Wallace and this character, like she tries to get like that fucking psycho like crazy.
I'll tell you this though,
shit.
When D. Wallace had the shoddy in her crazy modes, Roland got a half chubby off of that.
Yeah, I was like, hey man, she's thick. All right. All right. All right. Like I like this. All right. He's got them boots. So Lucy goes to try to save her, you know, and then finds out after the fact that because
she's in cahoots.
Yeah, when she goes up to try to find because it's the daughter and the mother there.
Yeah, she goes up to the bedroom to find her. She finds that like the mother's dead.
D. Wallace's character Patricia kills the mother. So apparently this whole time for like the 5 years or whatever that Patricia has been living with her mother has had her sedated as fuck. Like she's had her drugged out.
So with the mother murder, how does she not count towards like the count though?
I don't know.
Because it's just a general kill. Like I think she just killed her because maybe she wasn't on the meds anymore.
No,
at
that's irrelevant.
That point,
it's just like it's all about like, you know, racking up that death total between, you know, the Johnny Bartlett and crazy bitch, you know,
Patricia. Yeah. I don't know.
How did
actually
her mother's
why.
death not like count towards like? So it's like, oh, I guess it's 44. You know, for this.
Well, would it be like if Johnny Bartlett decides who is gonna get the kill? Because
they kind of do.
If she kills her, if she technically kills the mother, I mean, it doesn't count as the joint kill, right?
I guess not.
Because I mean, then that would probably make her have a death toll just one more than him, and he probably wouldn't like that either.
Maybe not. I don't know. That's actually a good point because they do make a point, or you know, like they do count everyone.
Yeah,
like
together,
they're
right? Because like
tally.
they're both killing together. So I mean,
of a sort. Like I think.
Well, when they kill the people in the hospital, she's blowing some people away too. But are those people counted towards his death count?
I assume the thing that I'm sort of confused about is how I guess Patricia has any real influence with Johnny as he's going around killing all these random people necessarily.
I think she's just like, I support it, baby.
Right. Like he just says, you know, I'm gonna kill this fool, or I'm gonna kill this chick, and whatever.
Well, we find like through a flashback, we find out that Patricia actually carved the number into Deborah's forehead.
Right.
And that's when he realizes, like, of course, he didn't have anything to do with it.
No.
And he saw them both there.
Right. He remembers.
Johnny was there, yeah, and Patricia was there.
Remembered.
Yeah, with the box cutter fucking carving.
Right, because at that point, Johnny was long dead, and he was there as the Reaper. I don't know. Like, I guess they were. I guess Patricia was using the mother as a cover at that point, kind of thing.
I would imagine.
Kind of like just so she's collecting that. She's collecting that retirement check or whatever that her mom pays for everything and that kind of shit. And I suppose just enjoying those drugs or whatever. I mean, at that point. So yeah, maybe that makes a little more sense there. And at that point, like they realize that
if she's in her mother's care, does her mother get a check for Patricia?
Probably.
If because she's mentally unstable.
Yeah.
Right.
On top
But
of
even,
her
but I
own.
mean,
the
but
caretaker. Yeah.
would they still give him money even if she's been like
So she has like social
convicted of,
security
like, crimes
and
and stuff?
caretaker
Well, she
money,
wasn't,
man.
though.
They're making a hand over
probably
a
not.
fist, dude.
I mean, you're not going to make any money in prison. Kind of
No,
thing.
I know, but I mean, like, would the government still provide for a person who is mentally unstable in the care of her mother, but she's also been charged with
I think
crimes and
so.
shit like that?
In that case, probably. If she was,
I guess if they're basically giving a check for the
insanity
mother,
plea or
so
whatever.
she can take care of
right?
this
Yeah, so she
person,
can be a
I guess,
provider.
right?
I guess if they didn't have their own like facilities set up for that kind of care. So yeah, Lucy goes to their house, and Patricia is just like, all right, I guess we can stop fucking around and whatever. And Johnny shows
cops,
up and starts egging her on. They just sort of kill the mom. They go after Lucy. And that's when Lucy gets a hold. They find out the reason that Johnny's able to still be around is because Patricia has an urn with his ashes in it that she keeps on her in her room, and so they steal it, or rather, she takes it, if I'm not mistaken, to Frank. Frank shows up.
Out of beer, but continue, Roland.
Frank shows up to save Lucy. And that's when he finds out what the fuck is up with those ashes. And they're like, okay, well, the only way we can stop him is we take him to consecrated.
Consecrated
We got to take him to the Holy Lands, hollow ground.
Is it the hospital? Or there's a church nearby?
Right, yeah. They're like, where the fuck do we go? Because at this point, they're both on foot. And that's when Lucy's like, well, there's this abandoned hospital that has a chapel
right
in there. And so they just tear ass out over there as fast as they can. I guess in like one or two scenes, I think it shows them running across a couple of lawns or something like that, or the forest.
Yeah, I mean, just to bring it. I mean, this is like the climax of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Jeffrey Combs' character shows up, and there is a point where who shoots him? Is it Michael J. Fox or is it
no? That is Patricia.
Patricia shoots him with a fucking shotgun.
Fucks him up. See, the thing is that like Jeffrey Combs throughout this movie, after he loses his little pistola, he gets a fucking Uzi.
Yeah,
he gets a fucking Uzi, and he shoots Bannister.
It was fucking great that how he reveals the fucking gun.
Yeah, what does he say? Okay. So what happens is that as Frank is holding the urn and is about to dump the ashes into the chapel, Dammers shows up and stops him. I think Frank trips, and throws the urn in the air, and Dammers catches it. And he's like, oh, let me guess, this needs to be taken to hallowed ground or whatever to stop the evil. And
he just throws him out.
Yeah, he just like opens the lid and just sort of pours it out. And that's when you see Bartlett just kind of like, as a cloud of evil dust fade away. And Frank is like, God damn it, dude. Like, you have no idea what you just did. And he's like, oh, this. And that's when Dahmer's is like, oh, this again. Yeah, you're trying to explain away your multiple personality. Like you're the problem here, like, buddy, not me. And that's when Frank is like, damn it, dude, you're such an asshole. Like he picks up a lead pipe or whatever, and he's about to hit him. And Dammers is like, yeah, I'm an asshole with an Uzi. He fucking pulls that gun out and just shoots him.
Peppers fucking Michael J. Fox up with that shit.
Yeah, and Michael J. Fox just like turns around and is like, fuck me. And Dammers is like, I don't want to shoot you in the back. Turn around and face me. And that's like when he sees Patricia at the end of the hallway, and she's pointing the gun at him. He turns around and just sort of trips, like intentionally trips, because there's a hole in the floor. They're on like the third floor or something like that of this hospital, and so Frank just falls onto the hole and like ends up like falling through three floors, of the building. As Patricia's about to pull the trigger of the shotgun pointing at him, and it hits Dammers full on in the head. and
just fucking blows his head off.
Yeah, his head explodes.
It's hilarious is that like immediately you have his ghost face and it's like sad.
Yeah,
sad look on his face.
He sees the gun, he sees the light, and like boom, his head explodes, and like Ghost Dammers is just like, well, I had an Uzi. But so at this point, Lucy's attacked by Bartlett, and Patricia attacks Frank, who's he can't put up a fight because he fell through like fucked, 3 floors. He'd been shot, like he's been all fucked up.
He's a little fucked up, yeah.
He'd just been resuscitated not even an hour before from like a near death, like in a
doesn't she like she knock Frank in the head at some point whenever they're actually struggling?
She chokes him out.
Yeah, they choke him
and
out,
like
right,
he just like basically dies of she basically crushes his windpipe.
Yeah.
And then just like drops him, and like he falls like a sack of shit. Like, oh man, that was like that must have cracked his skull or something. Like, and so what happens is that Ghost Frank gets up pissed off as fuck, and I guess he does exactly what Bartlett has been doing to all of the other people, because he yanks out Patricia's fucking ghost or spirit straight out of her body.
It's crazy. Like he just yanked her fucking spirit out.
So I can only assume that, and it shows like in the scene what he's doing. Like he just pulls her body and like out comes her soul or whatever. But if I was going to try to make sense of it, I'd say that I guess he probably just fucking crushed her heart, like,
and then pulled her out,
like like Bartlett had been doing to everybody. Which I was like, fuck yeah, that's some metal shit. Go get him, Mike.
And on top of that, that's when like the path or the
right. So the tunnel of light opens up for Patricia. And
for isn't it for both of us, for Patricia and Michael J. Fox?
I guess so, because it opened up for him when he was originally put into that near death state, and he just sort of walks away from it. So
I guess since her body's fresh, I mean,
yeah,
because I mean technically he's dying again.
It's a twofer.
So I mean, it could have been.
Yeah. So he pulls her up into the tunnel, and he's like, "Come on, Johnny, don't be a bitch, let's go." And Johnny's like, "Give me her back, that's my girl."
No, it's fucking funny when they're going up through the tunnel and fucking Jake Busey's like just like trying to swim.
Yeah, yeah, he's trying to swim through it to get closer to him or whatever. And they do in the end. I was telling Daniel, like, just when you think this movie couldn't get more fucking ridiculous, like they're having a fucking like fight chase scene or whatever through a tunnel of light to fucking to heaven, and so Frank makes it to the end. He's standing, at the. On top of a cloud.
Johnny actually grabs Patricia.
Right, yeah, he gets.
So they think they're about to like head back.
Right, they're still floating in the tunnel,
and then it turns into hell.
Yeah, it turns into a flesh corridor.
Exactly.
And like all of these fucking like tentacles with teeth start like pulling through them and everything. It turns into like Evil Dead porn all over again, and the tunnel closes on them, and it turns out it's a giant fucking like it's like a hell worm or something like that. It's
a hell worm, yeah, exactly.
I don't know what the hell to call it, but speaking of, like, that's what happens. The worm swallows them and then just dives down into a pit of lava kind of thing,
like a fire kind of
thing.
Yeah,
there we go. How biblical of you, Ray.
Well, yeah, that's what it is, basically.
And so Frank is up there, and that's when Cyrus and Stuart
his friends.
are there, and they're like, "No, dude, come here, it's cool. Like, just chill. Like, they're fucked. Watch." And then this happens, and they get pulled down. They're like, "Yep, it's the train ride to hell. Like, one-way ticket." And
what did they mention about heaven?
They said that Cyrus had been bitching like as a ghost because like he died in the 70s, so like he looked like a disco king or whatever. Yeah. He had like one of those fucking like disco jackets with like the hanging threads and shit, and like bell bottoms and all that. He's like, "Fuck, I can't change my clothes, man." Like, like I'm just stuck like this. Yeah, and
it turns out in heaven, Stuart's like a ladies' man,
right? Yeah, because like as a ghost, Stuart's awkward and like timid and just like I'm an adult.
I was a double major.
Yeah, and they're like, "What did you say?" Nothing. And so like like you see Cyrus up there, and Cyrus is wearing this like he's wearing like a white tuxedo, And Stewart is, he looks like
he's wearing like a pleather fucking suit.
He's wearing like some kind of Michael Jackson fucking Thriller shit or whatever. Like he's got his hair all slicked up and shit. And like they're like, man, the libraries here are great. And then Cyrus is there with a fucking stogie, and he's like, oh yeah, and Stewart's apparently
ladies man.
Ladies man. He's really crushing that.
And when they're talking about what's good in heaven, like Stewart just goes, and does he say like, and the ladies?
Oh right, and the honeys.
The honeys. There you go.
He's like, and the honeys.
And that's when he mentions about it, that he's a ladies man.
And then right after, Frank sees his wife, his dead wife, and she's like, hey, he's like, and Frank is just like, oh, cool. I guess it's over. And
the way you're making this whole scene is like no one put any effort into it. Hey,
I mean, it's very emotional. So yeah, forget that noise. And
hey, Frank. Oh, hey, cool. Go back.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, I'm home. He's like, no, not really. Poof, and they just push him back. He just sort of falls. So they're like, no, oh. They tell him like, start living, dude. And it would have been really funny if he was falling down, like he would have said like, no. But so yeah, he goes back and hooks up with Lucy, and
they pretty much live happily ever after.
Right? Yeah. Well, for the most part, the sheriff goes up to Frank and Lucy as they're picnicking outside of Frank's house that's being it's being demolished. Yeah, they're demolishing it.
Yeah,
they're demolishing it, and so the sheriff goes up to him, and that's when he explains to them like what had sort of. So like I sort of lost a little bit of the details here because he starts talking. The sheriff starts telling Frank that Patricia was sort of responsible for all of the deaths.
Yeah.
They don't say specifically like what it is, like just that she was into some weird occult shit, like because that's when he mentions that apparently she had a big old stack of Ouija boards and that's where she got like a hold of Bartlett.
Direct contact with her boyfriend.
Right, yeah. And then I guess he doesn't really mention that there was anything like supernatural necessarily like related to it. He just says that like, yeah, this is where the crazy started. And then he's telling him, he's like, man, I'd like to make a book about this. Like, would you be interested? And Frank's like, nah, why don't you go ask your guardian angel there? And he points to like the back seat of the sheriff's car. And the sheriff turns and he's like, ha ha, you got me. And Frank's like, yeah, I got you. Ha 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 ha. And he's driving away. And as he's driving away, you see Dammers in the backseat looking pissed off, ghost Dammers. And that's when Lucy's like, man, Dammers must be really pissed. Yeah. And that's when Frank's like, yeah, he does. What?
Wait, what?
Yeah. And then, they use that quote. I guess when you see some weird, traumatic, kinky shit or whatever, like.
When you go through some traumatic experiences, your perceptions are altered.
Yeah.
End of movie.
End of movie. Yeah. This fucking movie's awesome. I was laughing my ass off the whole time.
It's super funny, man.
It is really so fucking funny.
So before we'll just get into it. It's probably stuff we mentioned before. Favorite scenes, Roland, since this is your pick.
My favorite scene would have to be. Well, I mean, I know what your favorite scene is, but mine,
I think we probably have like the same favorite scenes in this movie.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, pretty much all of them. One of the best ones, of course, is when the judge is attacking death, and then he talks about shooting blanks, and he goes and fucks that Egyptian corpse, the mummy. Let's see. Fuck. It's hard to narrow some down because this movie really is so fucking funny. I loved it when Frank pulls Ray out of the dirt, out of his grave, his burial. Let's see. I'm thinking about it.
Pretty much gonna say like every scene with Jeffrey Combs.
Yeah, everything with Jeffrey Combs. Scene with Jeffrey Combs is the lead great. Breastplate, the fucking road was it?
roadmap of pain. Yeah.
Roadmap of pain. Yeah, I'm gonna go with those scenes.
Right. Daniel.
All right. So my favorite scene was early on in the movie when the ghosts were bitching at Michael J. Fox about like their cut, their role,
their needs.
Whatever. But it's when Frank is showering.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the fucking ghost comes through the fucking hole. And
Cyrus is such a bitch. It's so great.
And so Cyrus is like,
he's like, how's it hanging?
So I was like, how's it hanging? Yeah. And then Frank's like, well, I don't know, Cyrus, why don't you tell me? He's like, well, I can tell you the ladies aren't missing nothing.
Yeah. The ladies ain't missing nothing.
But and it's so great because fucking Frank's like, oh, I've got to pee and I'm not going to leave the shower. And so the guy's like, all right, bye.
Yeah.
And just slips down the drain again. It's fucking hilarious.
I was telling Daniel, like, this is the extended version, because there are a couple of scenes in here that I hadn't seen before, and that was one of them. And I immediately knew. I was like, oh fuck, that's an extra. Like, there's that one is an extra scene. There's another scene when Johnny is first introduced in the movie as you know, like, properly as a ghost when Lucy's in Patricia's house, and Johnny's like telling Patricia, oh man, like, you can kill her and like we'll be better than like whatever the fuck, that'll bring us up to 41, babe, or whatever. And Lucy doesn't see that. Like, Lucy just sees Patricia kind of like acting funny, but she's talking to Johnny, and like they go into the kitchen, and that's when when Patricia like first decides to try to kill Lucy, when she goes in and gets the fucking kitchen knife.
Right.
Johnny like goes and he's like, get this knife. And, she picks it up, and she stabs Johnny, ghost Johnny. And he's just there like basically jerking off to it, like kind of thing, as she's stabbing him. She's like, yeah. And he's like, yeah. Kind of thing. And
okay.
Yeah, I was like, okay, that's another.
Which is cool because it was his turn anyway. You had your chance, Roland.
Oh no, I was just talking about extra scenes. It's not my favorite scene. I thought it was cool though.
Pretty much anything Jeffrey Combs is in, I love, because that's the most memorable. And of course, like his eccentric version of Herbert West. You're just seeing that all over again. Because I mean, we just did the trilogy for Reanimator, and you see a more reserved, focused character of Herbert West, and this is just like zany. Fucking, he's all over the place. He's fucking nuts. He's got a lot of quirks that he doesn't have, of course, and in the other movies as well. But Michael J. Fox is cool. Different character, not necessarily anything that he doesn't have to extend himself too much for this character.
The scene where he like breaks around the fucking, which he didn't know was the funeral like procession.
Does he like hit like a tombstone?
No.
I'm not sure.
No, that scene where like he's there with the judge. He's like, oh, I'll get there or whatever. And he like banks around this fucking long line of cars that's driving slow as fuck.
Ah, that's right.
And that was Ray's fucking funeral procession, I believe.
Yeah.
Let me see.
He jumped the curve and runs past the hearse.
I think the scene about the judge fucking the mummy corpse was funny.
Yeah, it was.
Let me see. Was there anything else? I did enjoy the scene when he first when Frank comes in. We get introduced to him as a paranormal investigator, and he's doing his con shit. And I think that part's pretty funny because, of course, the Ray character doesn't buy any of it, and of course, Michael J. Fox's character Frank Bannister is just kind of dragging the shit out.
It just felt like a huge Ghostbusters homage to me.
Well, probably,
it was awesome.
Probably,
like
it
was
the fucking toaster with the little silver bag, ectoplasm, whatever. All the shit that he's spewing, I find pretty amusing. I do like that scene a lot. But yeah, that's pretty much it for as far as favorite scenes for me.
I was trying to remember another funny possession scene was when. Like Daniel said, Michael J. Fox jumped the curb to pass like a funeral procession because he'd been called to another place.
The baby scene.
Yeah, the ghosts get the babies, get some babies in on the hunt or whatever. They're like, all right, kids, you're gonna help us, right? And the babies smile because I guess the babies can see ghosts.
Well, because and they're like, do you want to help us scare the crap out of your mommy and daddy?
Yeah, and they're fucking like toddlers, and they're just huge smiles on their faces. And so they pick up these 3 babies and just start floating around the room, like chasing the maid.
That scene was fucking hilarious.
And they throw them at the mom and knock her on her ass, and she just sort of like passes out, and that's when they call Frank. And that was the funniest shit. I think Cyrus picks up one of the babies, and he's like, "Oh, it's crapped in his pants. Yeah, it did poo poo." So I was just imagining a baby with a diaper full of shit being hurled around this room and slamming into his fucking mom.
Change me.
Yeah. Just like imagine this like soggy, gross, stank ass fucking feeling at the end of there.
So let's go over the budget for this movie before we get to our ratings.
It's right.
I believe the budget was $26 million, and at the box office it made $29.
So this was seen as a box office flop,
right?
Most of the. It was well received.
Yeah,
it was well received.
As far as box office is concerned, of course, the money talks.
Right.
It was well received as far as critically.
Critics loved it, and as far as it's following now or since then, it's been. I'd have to say it's a favorite.
But I guess most people probably don't really know too much. I'm not gonna say the common person who watches movies and doesn't really
because
follow too much, probably forgot this movie's forgotten
because Peter Jackson's not known for this kind of thing at all. This was way the hell before.
And I'm pretty sure people that only know Peter Jackson from Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, and they see these movies, they'd be surprised.
A huge fucking
it's a leap,
franchise.
It's a huge leap as far as filmmaking and genre.
And the way it's been weaved into fucking pop culture, nobody's. There's just so much shit with Lord of the Rings.
Just look at the directors that have started in horror. You have Sam Raimi doing the Spider-Man fucking movies and shit.
Yeah.
And then of course before that, I didn't realize this until probably a few years ago that he directed Darkman.
Yeah,
which is another cool movie that.
Oh, word! I did not know that.
It's mostly a cool series.
The first one's really good, for sure.
Yeah,
I just didn't know you directed that shit. That's cool.
And of course, you have again Peter Jackson who did Meet the Feebles, which is a really fucked up movie. And then of course, Dead Alive, one of the goriest movies of all time.
At one point.
Bad Taste, also fucked up movie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, where they start out to where they end up. I mean, these were good directors, and they started in a particular genre.
Dead Alive is pretty much like a trauma film.
And speaking of that, also we have James Gunn doing fucking Romeo and Juliet, and then now he's doing Guardians of the Galaxy and shit like that.
Yeah.
So they reached into the heart, the people that started in horror, and these directors.
They're very humble beginnings.
And with James Gunn and Troma, would you say fringe horror, maybe?
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that fucking Troma and Juliet has a fucking huge monster cock in there is hilarious. And then he's over here doing fucking Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, and he's doing that and that new Suicide Squad movie that's coming out, and I forget what else.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of shit now, and people like his work. So it's just funny how that.
All right, so
develops.
Again, critically received. It was well received by the critics, and unfortunately, not most people forgot about this movie, didn't go see it.
Yeah,
I didn't even realize I didn't realize this movie until I saw it on VHS.
I rented
at some
it.
point.
Yeah,
I rented it at some point.
I had no idea what the fuck it was. I saw the.
I remember
cover.
the trailer. I did remember the trailer, but I didn't go see it in the theaters. So
I think I do remember the trailer.
It's rated R
but I completely
right?
forgot about it.
It's a rated R movie.
Yeah,
I think that's probably why it kind of fell through the cracks.
I completely forgot about it, and then I saw it.
Is it rated R? Then why was fucking that gunnery sergeant so fucking soft on everyone?
Because maybe he had to tone down the likeness because he was in fucking Full Metal Jacket, or maybe he was trying to earn his way back into heaven, so he had to tone it down a bit.
Or just like they just wasn't in the budget. I don't know. Fuck.
And I did mention the fact that Michael J. Fox is not known for too many movies, but I completely forgot, and I shouldn't have.
Yeah, you
Teen
did.
Wolf.
Yeah, I was gonna say like.
Teen Wolf.
Yeah.
Also, classic movie.
Wow,
there.
Ray.
I completely forgot.
I
feel really bad about
you, man.
I know. I'm particularly disappointed in Ray.
And you should be. I'm disappointed in myself.
That's one. Like, oh man, that's one of your. That's one of those movies you never shut up about. Yeah,
it's fucking great.
Anytime just anybody would mention Teen Wolf.
Small trivia: at the end of that movie, you do see a guy with his zipper down and his fucking chonies showing. Just a little trivia there. But
thanks, Ray.
So ratings of this, Roland. This is your pick for our Halloween.
So I'd probably give this one a 5. Like I've always loved this movie. I wish I could have watched it more. I mean, I will be now that I've got
access to it. Yeah,
got it.
It's on Hulu too, by the way.
It comes and goes. Like whenever it was on there before, like over the years, I would make sure to watch it at least 2, 3, 4 times before they took it off again. Because you know how they fucking have like a rotation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So I was watching that and the Addams Family movies a lot lately.
Mm-hmm.
Until they took those off and put the fucking animated one on there, which I've been blasting that for a while too. It's pretty funny. It's amusing.
Okay, so solid 5 for you. So this movie is like right up there with what's that other movie that you would talk about? That was one of your choices.
Bloop.
What is one of your other 5 that you can?
Oh, like Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz. There you go. Probably.
Yeah.
Hot Fuzz.
This movie.
One of the movies
Army
you
of
have
Darkness.
like constantly like in the rotation in the background.
Pretty much. So like that's one of the reasons why I want a third monitor, just so I can have like these fucking movies on constant play as I'm doing other things, and then I'll watch another movie on the side and there's like slight distraction.
Your go-to playlist,
and then
that just has the movies
exactly.
It's just
24/7. Yeah,
that's terrible.
I know.
Daniel, what's your rating of this movie?
I have a plan.
A 4.
How dare you?
I have some problems with this movie. Well, like I've talked to you about this when we watched the movie earlier, when it was like the initial horror scene with the lover of Johnny getting terrorized
Patricia.
by and choked by the fucking specter and shit.
Oh, right. Yeah. In the beginning of the movie, you mean? When the mother says like deliver you from evil or whatever.
Yeah.
I just think they were probably doing some kinky choke sex. Probably what.
Or maybe they just had a fight.
So yeah,
Johnny and
that one scene,
Patricia?
Flat 4.
And that's how they were making up?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Flat 4.
Flat 4.
Ray?
Okay. I'm going to give it a 4.75. And the only reason I'm giving it like 0.25 less is because I always have a bit of an issue with the CGI because it's not that great, you know.
It's not, but apparently this movie had used the most amount of CGI since any movie up to date.
Right. Yeah,
they spent something like I forgot how many months in post.
I think it was 8 months.
Adding this shit. Hold on, I think you're right.
I think it was 8 months. It was a long fucking time.
Hold on. Let's see.
I think we want to go to the trusty Wikipedia, Roland.
Yeah. Development.
The visual effects down there, man.
Works on the Frightners is complex too. A main problem being that Peter Jackson's studio was pretty inexperienced with this stuff in the mid-90s. They'd only been around for like 3 years. Mostly they just did physical, so the stage, like in this case, the town, I guess that they pretty much had to sort of remodel. For the company that, let's see, it was 18 months.
18 months, shit.
After completing the Frighteners.
That's a hell of a long time.
It's a long fucking time. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the only problem I had with this movie was the special effects didn't seem that great. And then, of course, for the time, again, we have Terminator 2 would probably have like bigger budget and stuff like that.
The reason why I like the effects though is because they were still pretty conservative about it. For the most part.
Yeah, but
and they mixed them with
I have an issue
effects,
in general
liked.
with CGI being used in horror movies.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And to this extent that you see death, I mean, it was, to me, it was a bit excessive.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably like my only issue with the movie. I love fucking Michael J. Fox. Jake Busey's great in this movie. Jeffrey Combs. Who else? I mean, pretty much everyone else. I enjoyed their character. I didn't hate one. I didn't dislike one person that came out in this movie. I think that everyone did a really good job, and the story is fun. It has pretty decent horror elements, just a good balance between the horror and the comedy.
It's got a great musical track, of course.
Yeah, and we didn't talk about that. Is that Danny Elfman?
Yeah.
Of course, we've talked about a bunch of movies already so far, and Danny Elfman has had his fucking musical finger on all of them.
Well, on everything. Yeah. I mean, which he does. Like, let me see here.
I think we almost, whenever we did our mixtape episode of soundtracks, there was going to be almost like an Elfman quest, basically, is what it was. Because there were so many movies that he was a part of.
Big Adventure, Batman, Beetlejuice,
fucking Dick Tracy, Darkman.
Yep. Nightbreed, Edward Scissorhands, Batman Returns, Nightmare Before Christmas,
Dolores Claiborne.
Mm-hmm. He did the first Mission Impossible. Of course, the Frightners, Men in Black,
Flubber. Sleepy Hollow.
Yep. He did the Venture Brothers cartoon.
Okay, cool, nice
soundtrack for that. Let's see.
He's done so much shit.
I mean,
this guy's probably so fucking rich.
Nacho Libre. The Corpse Bride, Charlie and Chocolate Factory, Spider-Man 2, Big Fish.
You know what's funny is that he even does as the status that he has as far as like for creating soundtracks. He even does like independent movies and still creates fucking great shit in there as well. Scrooged.
Yeah.
Well, that's not.
He's pretty much done all of the Men in Black movies. Yeah. Frank and Weenie. That's a dumb movie. Nice.
Real quick before we finish this episode, Roland, can you go and check horror movies of 1996 so we can see what this movie was up against to see maybe why it just fell through the cracks? Again, this is a rated R movie. At the time, these types of movies didn't do well, especially if it's an unknown director. We have Scream.
Immediately why.
You're sure right now. Scream came out at the same time. Fucking killed all those movies. Like, that movie was in theaters for so fucking long. I remember it like doing its original run through, and then they brought it back because it was making so much fucking money.
Yeah.
And then of course you had Dusk Till Dawn, which is also a classic. Thinner, kind of forgotten. The
Bad
Craft.
Moon was all right.
Craft,
Bordello, Blood, baby.
Hey, isn't that one of your favorites?
I mean, no, but it's good.
Hellraiser, Bloodline.
That is one of my favorites, even though it's apparently hated.
Yeah. Tremors 2.
Oh, what's
That's
this?
right there.
Head of the Family.
Head of the Family. That movie's fucking terrible.
Tremors 2, baby.
Yeah.
Aftershocks.
Let's see what else. The Island of Dr. Moreau.
Yep. The redo.
Remake. Yeah. Sometimes they come back. I saw that on TV, which is also a pretty good Stephen King adaptation.
I don't understand why this is listed as a horror movie.
The Ghost in the Darkness?
Yeah. To me, it's more of like a thriller or maybe suspense.
Sure.
I like it. It's a cool movie, but I don't. That's not what I would think of as.
I've seen it a few times. I mean, it's not scary. I think it's because of the fucking. It's the lion.
Here's the killer. Here's the killer right here, baby.
Lawnmower Man 2. There you go. Nice. Fear with Mark Wahlberg. Ooh, scary.
Let's see what else.
Mars Attacks came out in 1996.
Yeah,
right?
This is interesting. This is a horror movie, really?
Well, the horror of drugs.
Train Spotting.
The horror of heroin. But those are other movies. Those aren't horror movies.
What
Kingpin isn't horror.
That is not. What is this doing here?
Jack.
Escape from
Daylight,
LA.
Escape from LA. That's kind of scary.
Google, you failed.
The Crow, City of Angels.
Oh, shit. There it is.
There you go.
Lame.
Yeah.
Great soundtrack, though. I'll give it that. That's probably one of the best things about that fucking movie.
Let's see. Ooh, Carnosaur 3.
Oh, your favorite, Roland.
Oh, man. That's great.
Oh, you know what? It says Poltergeist Legacy. I have a point where me and Paul went to go rent Poltergeist Legacy from Blockbuster, and it was rated. Is it like
NC-17?
Youth restricted?
Oh yeah.
So when we rented it, the guy obviously didn't give a shit, right? So we rented the movie. So I think Paul said he wanted to rent it so we could check out the scene of the girls naked. Like that was it. And then my mom saw it. She's like, what is like YR? And I was like, oh, it's youth restricted. You have to take this back immediately. And we were like, oh, bummer, man.
After we watch it,
freshmen in high school have to take back a youth restricted movie.
Yeah.
So sad. Man, I've been watching fucking Cinemax this whole time. These titties aren't gonna like surprise me.
No, they're not.
But anyways, Scream pretty much dominated that year for sure. But yeah.
Word.
All right. So any last thoughts, Roland? This is your movie, so I'll give you the last say.
I fucking love this movie. If you haven't seen it, I mean, definitely check it out. It's hilarious. If you have seen it,
it's on Hulu, by the way. So
fucking watch it again. It's the right time for it. Christ. I mean, everybody's going to be...
Nighttime is the right time.
Fucking Halloween's basically canceled everywhere. So, you know, like you're going to be staying home, drinking. Might as well fucking put this shit on.
All right.
Fuck yeah.
All right. I guess happy not Halloween.
Suckers.
Halloween's fucked this year.
Yeah.
Have a nice time.
Which matters to people that actually celebrate Halloween during Halloween and not the rest of us that celebrate it year long. I mean, but whatever. Hey, nobody's perfect.
So your one day's ruined. Big fucking deal. You eat candy, watch horror, think horror all the time.
You can poop all year. Fucking...
even Christmas. Santa Sleigh. That with Goldberg.
Yeah. Oh,
he's like killing people and shit.
Stupid ass movie.
We'll watch that movie for Christmas.
God damn it!
Bring in the horror for Christmas.
I hope you all, stay the hell away from candy corn. That shit kills.
All right. We'll see you next month.
See ya.
See you, dudes.
This is
they already know who we are.
People.
People are talking on this podcast.
Yeah.
They might be, or they might not be.
Don't worry about it.